be very helpful, actually.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome. It's a pleasure, privilege and a joy to introduce this very special event at a very special moment at which we're on the cusp of swinging open the great gates of the castle to the good mob of Hay for the first time, openly, comprehensively and for all time. First of all, I'd like to recognise, even if they have not sought recognition, the Hay Castle Trust for their hard work, vision, their devotion to the enrichment of Hay in restoring our crumbling Capitol Hill and giving it over to the community. There could be no more appropriate event to spark off a series of castle inauguration jamborees than the unveiling of a sculpture of Richard Booth, the last inhabitant of Hay Castle and the King of Hay himself, a man to whom anyone who cares about the prosperity of Hay-on-Wye is very much indebted. And I'm so pleased that we have today with us Penny Chandler, our wonderful sculptor, who has created this very skillful, playful and beautiful memorial to Richard Booth in bronze. I'm very, we'll see it in a moment, but after this installation, of course, Richard can now keep a beady eye on all of us. We can't get away from him now. He'll be peering out of this niche, ensuring that no one cozies up to the bureaucrats or lose sight of what makes us distinctive and what makes us who we are. I'm also absolutely over the moon that some of you who lived this story and indeed helped to write this story are here with us today. I've really enjoyed over the last couple of months learning more about the tale of the journey of Hay-on-Wye in Richard's lifetime and hearing more about your heroic entrepreneurial roles within it and also your wonderful antics, and long may that spirit prosper. Hope, who sadly can't be with us today, of course puts all of this much better than me, and she's passed me on a message for me to read out to you. I would be really grateful if you could mention how sorry I am not to be there, but appreciate this recognition of Hay Castle Trust, of Richard's contribution to the fame of Hay-on-Wye and his love of the castle, with this relief sculpture by Penny Chandler in memory of Richard. Richard's legacy will never be forgotten, and Penny's sculpture plays an important part in that. I'm now going to hand over in a moment for the big reveal to Dr. Reg Clark, who was at the right hand of Richard during the Declaration of Independence, his equerry, PR guru and graphic designer. But I will stay around afterwards. I want to say hello to you. I want to hear your stories about Richard. I want to hear your hopes and dreams for the castle. I want to work with you to make it the best castle in Wales, and a castle that will rain down cannonballs of creativity, merriment and civic pride from its battlements down onto this extraordinary town which Richard Booth did so much for. Long live Hay Castle.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm really impressed with the restoration of the castle, which I saw probably still smoky when I first came to Hay back in the late 77, 78. Nancy and her team have done a wonderful job, so congratulations to you all. Right, 45 years ago, on April the 1st, 1977, Richard Booth stood on the terraces of this castle, surrounded by his hastily assembled cabinet of notable Hay citizens. Below, in the market square, was a large crowd, amongst whom, jostling for position, were several television stations and a pack of journalists. Richard, having already appointed himself King of Hay a few weeks earlier, puffed at a large Cuban cigar and went on to declare the town independent of the United Kingdom. Richard, already a master of self-promotion for his second-hand bookshops in Hay, had just taken the next step in a publicity campaign that was to bring Hay and its bookshops international media attention. As a result of Richard's antics and independence for Hay, the town received worldwide press coverage that brought visitors from far and wide, thus boosting the local economy and, of course, importantly, the turnover in his bookshops. Indeed, the legacy of Richard's hard work can still be felt today, as unlike many small country towns in this kingdom that have declined and slipped into obscurity, Hay and its bookshops are still thriving. Richard's beloved castle, which he purchased in 1971, besides being the centrepiece of his book-selling empire, was importantly also the focus for numerous independence-related activities, which raised funds for the new kingdom. Hay passports, car stickers and t-shirts were distributed from here, and the Hay College of Arms issued the heraldic scrolls that came with the many dukedoms and knighthoods sold to those that wanted to join in the fun. But King Richard hated officialdom in all of its forms, and didn't hesitate to attack what he saw as injustice, bureaucracy and waste on every possible occasion. From the castle, the editors of the Hay Herald newspaper tweaked the nose of the local council of the time and poked fun at the various bureaucracies and quangos that were the victims of Richard's contempt. Council to abdicate, screamed one headline. And some 40 years before Brexit, Hay quits the EU, was another. In editorial articles, the long-suffering Wales Tourist Board had its title amended to read Wales Tourist B-O-R-E-D. Political pamphlets followed, kicking on such diverse targets as the local county council, the European Union, and now the defunct Development Board for Rural Wales. This spirit of anarchy was intoxicating. Indeed, on one occasion in the autumn of 1978, at Richard's behest, an enormous 20-metre-high wooden figure of a central government bureaucrat was burned on the castle lawn, amidst much free beer, fireworks and dancing. And in later years, when the revolutionary fervour had died down a little, the castle was the ideal base for royal investitures. On these glittering occasions in the stateroom, King Richard, resplendent in the crown jewels, dubbed the recently ennobled members of the Hay House of Lords, for a small extra charge, of course, including refreshments. It must be said that not everybody in Hay initially appreciated Richard's tomfoolery and politics, and he was occasionally the object of scorn. But despite this, the reality was that Richard truly loved Hay and its people, and did his best to benefit the town and its inhabitants. And in time, this effort was rewarded, as Hay came to love him back equally. Therefore, it's a fitting memorial to Richard that we now unveil this marvellous bronze relief in this beautifully refurbished castle, commemorating in perpetuity his extraordinary contribution to Hay and his astonishing life, deeds and adventures. So Kelvin, let the fanfare begin.
I know, what I'll have to do is I'm going to...
It's not the same, is it, when you... Oh, it's very similar to the one he had in Bryn Melyn Window. Nice.
He's got a little smirk.
Lovely.